Hi, my name is Max, and I'm a young scientist. I've always loved science, especially the way it helps us understand the world around us. When I first started learning English, it was tough for me, but I soon realized that science could make it easier and more fun. So, I decided to start a journal to keep track of my experiments, ideas and discoveries both in science and in learning English. In today's video, I want to take you on an adventure through my daily life as a scientist, where we'll not only learn about the wonders of nature, but also practice some important English words along the way. I'll be using simple words and repeating them, so feel free to follow along and improve your pronunciation with me. Max walked into his small but cozy laboratory. It was filled with tools and equipment, all arranged neatly on the shelves. There were microscopes, test tubes, and lots of colorful books about science. Max loved this place. It was where he could experiment, learn, and explore new ideas every day. As he looked around, he noticed the bright sunlight coming through the window, casting a warm glow on the wooden desk. "This is my favorite spot," Max said, smiling. "This is where I think, write, and create new experiments." He picked up a notebook and began flipping through the pages. "Today, I want to focus on plants," he continued. "Plants are amazing. They grow in so many different ways, and we can learn a lot by studying them closely." Max looked out the window and saw a beautiful garden just outside. There were flowers, trees, and even some insects buzzing around. He could tell that the plants were thriving, and it made him wonder about the secret to their growth. "Let's do an experiment," Max said excitedly. "I'm going to study a plant and learn about its different parts. Let's start with the root. The root helps the plant grow by absorbing water and nutrients from the soil." He paused for a moment, making sure to speak slowly so the viewers could understand. "In English, we call this part the root. Can you say it with me? Root." He smiled, waiting for his audience to repeat. Max's eyes sparkled with excitement as he carefully set up his experiment. He had a small plant in front of him, sitting in a pot filled with soil. "This is the plant I'm going to study today," he explained. "I want to understand how plants grow and what helps them get bigger and stronger." He picked up a pencil and began drawing in his notebook. "First, let's talk about the parts of the plant," Max said. "The root is at the bottom, under the soil. The root helps the plant grow by pulling water and nutrients from the ground. Can you say root again with me? Root." Max pointed to the plant's stem. "Next, we have the stem," he continued. "The stem holds the plant up and carries water to the leaves. Without the stem, the plant wouldn't be able to stand tall. Can you say stem, stem?" He moved his hand upwards, pointing to the leaves. "And here we have the leaves. The leaves are where the plant collects sunlight, which is very important for the plant to grow. In English, we say leaves. Say it with me. Leaves." Max paused for a moment, giving the viewers a chance to repeat the words. "Great job. Now we know the three main parts of a plant: the root, the stem, and the leaves. These parts work together to help the plant grow." Max smiled, feeling proud of his simple explanation. He wanted to make sure that everyone watching could understand the words he was using. "Now, let's do something fun. I'll say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me. Ready?" Max pointed to the root again. "The root helps the plant grow. Can you say that? The root helps the plant grow." He moved to the stem. "The stem carries water to the leaves." "Your turn." "The stem carries water to the leaves." Finally, Max pointed to the leaves. "The leaves collect sunlight." Now, say it with me. "The leaves collect sunlight." Max looked at his plant and smiled. Look at how simple it is to describe a plant in English. You just need to know the words for the parts: root, stem, and leaves. "You're doing great." Max took a step back and looked at his plant. He was excited to learn more about how it grew and what helped it become strong. Now that we know the basic parts of the plant, let's talk about how plants grow, he said, looking directly at the camera. Plants need a few things to grow: sunlight, water, and air. He reached for a book on his desk. This book explains how plants make food using sunlight. The process is called photosynthesis. Can you say photosynthesis? It's a big word, but it's important. Photosynthesis happens in the leaves, and it helps the plant make food to grow. Max opened the book to a page with pictures of plants and sunlight. Look at this picture, he said. You see the sun shining on the plant's leaves. The plant takes in sunlight through the leaves. The sunlight mixes with water and carbon dioxide from the air to create energy for the plant. This is photosynthesis. He pointed to a diagram in the book. Here you can see how the water goes from the roots up through the stem to the leaves. The leaves then take in sunlight, and with the help of carbon dioxide from the air, the plant produces food. This process gives the plant the energy it needs to grow. Max looked at the plant again. So, when the plant gets enough sunlight, it can make its own food. This helps it grow taller, stronger, and healthier. He paused to let the idea sink in. But if the plant doesn't get enough sunlight, it can't make enough food. That's why plants need light to grow. He smiled at the camera. Now, let's practice some new words. Repeat after me. Photosynthesis. Great job. Can you say sunlight? Sunlight is very important for plants. Max continued. Plants also need water. Without water, the plant can't grow. The root helps the plant get water from the soil. Say water with me. Water is what plants need to stay alive. Max stood up and walked to the window, where he could see more plants outside. I have some plants in my garden, and I water them every day to help them grow. Without water, the plants would not survive. So remember, plants need water, sunlight, and air to grow. He turned back to the camera and pointed to his plant. I want you to think about how plants grow in your own life. Do you have any plants at home? What do they need to grow? Try to use the words we learned today: sunlight, water, air, and photosynthesis. Max smiled again. Learning about plants helps us understand how important nature is, and it also helps us learn new words in English. Keep practicing and you'll get better every day. Max was excited. He had been watching his plant closely for a few days, and he started to notice something interesting. I think I'm seeing something, he said with a big smile. He leaned in to take a closer look at the plant. The leaves seemed to be getting bigger, and the color was a vibrant green. I believe the plant is growing faster because I gave it more sunlight, Max said, writing in his journal. It's amazing to see how the plant responds to the sunlight. The more light it gets, the better it grows. He pointed to the plant's leaves. Look at how the leaves are stretching towards the sunlight. This is a sign that the plant is using the sunlight to make food. This is the power of photosynthesis at work. Max paused and looked directly at the camera. So, today I learned something important. Plants grow faster when they get enough sunlight. This is a discovery I made by observing my plant every day. And the best part, I can share this discovery with all of you. He paused for a moment, thinking about how exciting it was to make a discovery. Sometimes, learning takes time. But when you finally figure something out, it feels great. It's like putting together a puzzle. Max smiled as he continued to write in his journal. I can't wait to do more experiments and see what other discoveries I can make. I'm learning so much, not just about plants, but also about how to communicate these ideas in English. Max looked back at the camera. This is something that happens in science. You observe something, you make a hypothesis, and then you test it. In my case, I guessed that the plant would grow faster with more sunlight. And it worked. I'm so happy with my discovery. He paused, giving the viewers time to absorb the information. Now, let's practice some words together. Can you say discovery? Discovery is when you find something new. Repeat after me. Discovery. Max continued. And how about the word faster? When something is faster, it happens more quickly. Say faster. He looked at the plant one more time. It's amazing to watch how things grow. And with a little observation and patience, we can learn a lot, not just about plants, but about the world around us. Max smiled at the camera. I hope you're learning along with me. Remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get. And every small discovery is an important step in learning. As the day came to an end, Max sat by his desk, reflecting on everything he had learned. He looked at the plant, which had grown even more since that morning. The leaves were larger and the stem seemed stronger. Max was proud of his progress, both as a scientist and as an English learner. Today was a great day, he said to himself, smiling. I learned about the parts of a plant, the process of photosynthesis, and how sunlight, water, and air help plants grow. And I also learned new English words. This is amazing. He thought about how far he had come. A few weeks ago, learning English was really hard for me. But now I'm starting to understand more and more. And I can explain science in English, which is awesome. Max paused and looked out the window, where the evening sky was turning shades of pink and orange. It feels good to see how far I've come, but I know there's still more to learn. Max took a deep breath and wrote in his journal. Keep practicing every day. Small steps lead to big progress. He looked at the plant again and smiled. Just like plants, I am growing. And the more I practice, the more I learn. One day I'll be able to talk about all kinds of science in English without any problems. Max closed his journal and turned to the camera. I hope you're learning something new every day too. Remember, learning takes time. But if you keep practicing, you'll improve, just like a plant grows with sunlight. He smiled and added, Thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to see what we'll learn together in the next video. Keep practicing your English and keep discovering the world around you. With that, Max turned off the camera, feeling accomplished. He had made another important step in his journey, both as a scientist and as an English learner.